Instagram. Happy Wednesday and welcome to today's episode of the Trish Lynn Show. This is round 2 of trying to get our guest on here, so hopefully this works this time and she can actually come on and see that we are live so that she can join in the conversation. Today we are talking about narc abuse and the effects it has on the kids. So this is a fairly heavy topic, but it's one that is very much a needed conversation. And I have my own pieces to share with events that occurred this week. So hopefully we can get her on this time. And she's not seeing that we are live. So I am not understanding what is going on at all. Why can we not see that we are live? And because I'm in the account, I can't see that. Let's see if we can add her this way again. I'm not understanding what is happening today. But this is very interesting. I've never had this happen to me before, where it's just not seen that we are live. So I want to just check this out for myself. I'm not understanding at all. No, I can see that I'm live. I'm going to... There we go.
This is weird.
There you go.
Yeah, this is better. And I'm on a completely different device. I was not able to do this on my mobile, and I have joined through my iPad. So I would request you and also the viewers, I'm really sorry, just give me a minute's break. I need to get my earphones.
Oh, yeah, okay,
And
not a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for your patience. Yeah.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us. Say hi, let us know that you're here. Give us some hearts to help push the show in the algorithm, and we will get started very, very soon. There we go. Oh, we can't hear you. There we go.
I had muted myself. Now, yeah, you can.
Yes. It could be that the difficulty could be because you're on the iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instagram's very picky and it wants it on a mobile device. But we're here
What's strange,
now.
I was not able to join you on the mobile device.
That is really weird. But
yeah,
that's okay. We're here now. We can get started. So I let everyone know what today's show is about, and it's talking about narcissistic abuse and the effects that it has on the kids. And I actually have some very recent pieces that we'll be able to share through this episode, which is going to be really good. I'm not going to go into the details of the experience because it does involve my children, but there's a lot that I can share in a way that still, will resonate with those who watch. So I'd love for you to come on and introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are and what you do, and then we can dive into this topic.
yeah. Hi, Trish, and thank you for inviting me for this conversation about narcissistic abuse and its effects on kids. I am Uma Patil. I'm a holistic coach and a childhood trauma healing expert. So, having had abandonment trauma myself and also belonging to a family where there was a lot of dysfunction. I have experienced, had so many experiences, and childhood trauma had affected most of my adult life. And that's all I can say for right now, and then we can dive deeper into it.
Awesome. So, bringing this into the kids, when it comes to narcissistic abuse, this Sunday, so I'm gonna share this what I can share of this story. I shared a bit yesterday on my business page, but this past Sunday, my oldest and my ex got into a very big disagreement.
Mm.
And the pattern, so I'm noticing, I'm exhausted from it right now. And it's not even me anymore. I'm not living that experience, but I'm still feeling it through them. And what I've recognized is, and I think I already knew this, but I'm noticing it more and more and more. Now that I'm not in the picture, it is my oldest who is taking the brunt of everything that my ex would typically put on me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
I can understand.
so, when it comes to that trauma, I would love to hear your expertise on navigating these situations. Because for me, it was a phone call. I was there. I've had my kids since Sunday night now. But recognizing, just those narcissistic patterns of the massive blow up to the victim mode on his part, to playing it to me. I don't give a shit. These are my kids. I'm going to take their side no matter what. To the I'm sorry, let's talk this through, blah, blah, blah. All like just the pattern that keeps repeating, right? This obviously affects the kids.
Yes, definitely
And
does.
it's leaving, I don't want to say it's leaving a mark on them, because now that they're here with me, they're getting the rest that they need. They're processing the pieces as they need to, and I'm able to support them through that. But it's still trauma for them.
Yes, it is. It is. So, when they experience this trauma, first and foremost, they are never going to realize that it's about them. And most often, they always make it about themselves. And when you make it about yourself, when somebody is acting as a victim and making you an abuser or a perpetrator, and then you start kind of judging yourself, and judging is like a huge word, but even before judging, you start kind of thinking that there's something inherently wrong with you, that you are flawed, that you are not a good person, or you don't belong to be here. These are some things that might come up very strongly, and this might lead you to feel a like you're going to have zero self-love, zero self-worth, and your self-esteem is going to be rock bottom. And obviously, that is going to show up in different patterns as you grow up, or even during your growing years. You're going to attract bullies in school. You're going to attract people who are going to take advantage of you. You end up becoming a codependent. And I mean, these are all my experiences that I'm literally sharing from. And then you're not able to like really stand up for yourself. And I can remember, like, for the large part of my life, I was all the time teased. And being the kind of person I was, I just took it in my good stead and just would like kind of just shrug it off. But I know how deeply it has impacted my personality and what kind of inner work I had to do to get to where I am today. And like actually my eyes are already kind of getting, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know because I'm kind of replaying the events that happened and I'm getting teary eyed because the pieces that you just said, my oldest, he's 15. Not only are we dealing with that teenager, attitude and talking back and, just those pieces, but now we're dealing with it and his dad has so many narcissistic traits that we're dealing with the narcissist wants to control, the teenager's pushing back, so you get that typical teenager pushback.
Yeah.
And it just hit head on Sunday night. And for me, watching my son, who is a good kid, and he stood up for himself. I can't go into the details, but he stood up for himself like you wouldn't believe. And
Wonderful.
on the way home, he was like a mess. He was an absolute mess. He's like, I can't believe I did that. I'm like, dude, you're a good kid. That is why you feel so bad right now, because you are a good kid and you shouldn't have been put in that situation where you had to stand up for yourself. Your logical mind was gone. Your survival mode kicked in, and I am fucking proud of you for what you did for yourself. But it's, for me, it's instilling those pieces in all three of my children and sharing my experience so that they keep their self-confidence. Like, I want them to be the most confident version of themselves.
Yeah.
And, my
I can
boys,
understand.
yeah, my boys, obviously, they still want dad, right? They still see dad as their hero, and every little boy will. So
Yes.
it's very difficult to navigate because I don't talk bad of him to them. They're seeing everything on their own. But it's being able to, I don't want to say counteract because I don't think that is the right word. But at the same time, whatever he does, well, I'm on the other side doing the exact opposite.
Opposite. Yes. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Or you just showing up in love and trying to make them like believe in themselves and understand that they're not wrong and they had to do this because of what happened from the opposite end, and apparently they wouldn't have if they hadn't faced that situation.
Yeah. And like, we see the effects yesterday. My middle child, well, even today, he's still not feeling 100%. And I've said, I don't think he's sick. I think this is his body's way of processing all of the events that happen, and it's coming out as he's not feeling good because he's tired. He is stuffy, but he doesn't have a cold and it's not allergies. It's his body's way of processing the trauma that he just experienced.
True. You feel so much pain in your body because the emotions are held in our body, and you might feel lethargic, demotivated. I was like labeled lazy for a very, very, very long time, and probably the laziness was coming from me holding on to all the trauma. Though I was like, I cannot like pinpoint like directly that I had a narcissistic abuse, but these are even simply effects of trauma, and you can imagine what kids having had narcissistic abuse can experience.
Mm-hmm. I think as kids, they don't know how to process the
Absolutely,
same
yeah,
way,
yeah,
as adults, as we start learning more, we start learning how to process these pieces, right? And move through them. And they don't know how to process it. And then you watch the cycle of, big argument, victim mode, I'm sorry, and they don't know how to process that. They don't know
yes,
how to process it at all because it's just screwing up their mind so much that it's leaving
yeah,
that traumatic imprint on them.
true, true, yeah, very much.
So,
And it's yeah, go on,
no,
sorry.
that's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, and also at the same time, they are unable to express besides just processing also happens when you express it to somebody. They're unable to express because of the fear that they're going to sound bad or look bad, or like, we look up to our parents and then we cannot talk bad about them. And if you talk bad about your parents, you're going to be like, you are going to be categorized, and you're going to be like, looked down upon. Most often, then what happens is that's when you get into the bullying. You know, you start getting bullied because they think that you're a weakling, or you're having complaints about your parents.
Yeah. Then my kids haven't experienced that. I will say my ex and I are on the same page about one thing. You don't get bullied. If someone is coming after you, if someone hits you, you hit them back, and both of us will be in the office right there beside you, because you're not gonna just sit there and take it.
Yeah,
That's one way we have raised them. And one thing we both actually agree on together, which is funny enough, but um, it is. They don't want to talk bad or think bad of a parent. And,
yes,
for me, being the mom on the other side of it, I don't want to sit and talk bad of their dad, because I know
yeah,
that they think the world of him, but they're
yeah,
starting to see the pieces. When I first left, they would question why I left. And I wasn't the one talking bad. He talked very bad about me all of the time to them. And
mm,
now that they're starting to see it on their own, and I've recognized, as they are seeing it, I am still, like I always was, and I still am, their safe space. When the events occurred,
yeah,
they were not here under my roof. They were at their dad's house, and I was the first phone call.
yeah.
So it's
I can.
it's being able to still be that person for them while not talking bad, because now they're starting to see all of the pieces for themselves,
Yes.
but still helping them move through the traumatic experiences, because I can't prevent them. These
Mm,
pieces are going to come up, things are going to happen. It's not something that I can prevent, it's beyond my control.
true.
But I can
True.
help them move through it and
True.
get support.
Yes. And that's probably what they'll need. And also, this will be a portal for their personality growth and development. And probably they will bloom to be like, much more stronger, much more, like, what's the right word? I'm not getting the right word. Much more stronger and more uh, enabled and empowered adults.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, I can understand like the trauma and the pain they have to go through to get there. But like they say that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Trust me, like, it's a difficult journey, but they will definitely get there.
Yeah. Yes, I know that they are going to, I know they are going to be okay, because I am here to support them, and
Yes.
they know that as well. So it's just continuing to move through the events that come up. But for me, I'm exhausted from it today. I feel like, being totally transparent here for everyone who comes in on the show. I am drained today. Like, my energy levels are at an all-time low, and I know I need that extra level of self-care for myself to start bringing those levels back. So I can only imagine how drained they are actually feeling, having to, go through that experience and be there,
Yeah.
living that experience. And for me, it breaks my heart as a
Yeah.
mom. So what exactly do you help your clients with?
Well, I help my clients with, feeling when they're feeling stuck, and the stuckness actually comes from a place because they have had these experiences in their childhood, and to make them feel unworthy and unloved, and they would have held on to that for such a long time that they go into the stagnation and stuckness because they're experiencing self-sabotage, they're experiencing patterns of imposter syndrome, it could be procrastination. It could simply be doubting yourself and not having that confidence and not really knowing your true self-worth or value. And that is when they experience this stuckness, and this stuckness can show up in your relationship, in your professional life, or it could even be just in your personal life as having a relationship per se with just yourself, you know. Uh, that's how it shows up, and those are the people I work with, and I help them. Besides, like having an experiential, lived experience from which I can teach with the wisdom, I also am a energy healer and a hypnotherapist, and also a quantum healer. So I use subconscious programming, energy healing, and quantum healing to help them move past these issues.
So from all of that, I'm going to put you on the spot with a question.
Sure.
When it comes to, being the mom of the children who are going through this, what are, and I'll give you a second if you need to think of, an exact process, but when it comes to, the energy side of things, and being able to shift their traumatic experience in the moment, what is something that you could suggest to me and to our audience, or for the moms who tune in, who are in, the separation process and they are still co-parenting? Yes. Yeah. What could we do to help the children in this situation?
I totally hear you and I feel you in this. But first and foremost, we are the creators of our reality. So when we are seeing this happen to our children, we are actually reliving a part of our pattern when we have experienced that with our partner or whoever is the narcissistic abuser, right? So the first thing that you would have to do is cut your cords with your partner and those patterns. And then also cut cords with your children, because your cords with them also have this energy of worry, fear, a deep sense of overprotection. I'm using the word overprotection and not protection here, because when you are overprotective is you're constantly saying, I don't want them to go through this. But when you're using the word don't, the universe is not going to listen to your don't, but you are creating those patterns for them. So when I say you, I'm not like targeting you, but like any mom or any person who is in this kind of a relationship. And so the best thing would be to cut cords first with the narcissistic abuser, and secondly with the other people. It could also be like if we are adults and we have one of the parents who is narcissistic, we don't want our other parent to experience that abuse. But if you're constantly going to keep thinking, oh my God, like they are in this situation, they are in this situation, I am sending more energy to that situation. So all you can do is draw your energy away, cut cords, and you could also learn to protect your children through the protection sheets. This is something that I would recommend.
Okay, I used to, when I was still under the same roof. It's funny, I would cut the energetic cords every single night before I would go to sleep. And for me, like I would visualize it. I would close my eyes and visualize it. Those big construction cables that are all just different wires, like hydro lines and stuff. I would picture that. And for every person that I came in contact with in that day, I would, picture them at the other end of those cords. As many people as I could remember. And then there was always one for like everyone else that I missed.
Yeah.
And I would picture, and I would take my fingers like scissors and cut the cord.
Yeah.
And it would just help me feel that little bit lighter.
Yeah.
And I would also put literally envision a bubble around me, a protection energetic bubble.
Absolutely. So what you could do is do that at the beginning of the day with an energetic bubble. and cut cords with someone whom you can feel really intense energies with. Then you don't have to like just like keep cutting cords with everyone. But like, see, once that just becomes habitual, you are moving around and you come across so many people. Especially for people who are working online, we are most of the time online, and we can access so many people's energy online, right? But then how many people are you going to cut cards with? So the best way to deal with that is create a protective bubble and then affirm that those energies are not going to affect you. And as you raise your vibration and your frequency, automatically they will stop affecting.
Yeah, I love that. It makes, yeah, I love that. As a mom, I think it gives you that feeling of being able to protect your children, even though you cannot physically be there to protect them.
Absolutely, yes. Setting an intention, cutting cords, and protection.
Yeah. Awesome. I have loved this conversation. Is
Me
there
too.
anything you want to leave the audience with?
Yes, I would. As much as we are talking about narcissistic abuse and narcissistic patterns, I want to reiterate that they are patterns and it's a personality trait, and no person is a complete bad or a complete good person. And probably their experiences led them to become who they are. And to have that compassion for those people and not make them narcissists, but say that they are having narcissistic traits. And mind you, I want to say to every one of us that we all have those narcissistic traits and they show up at different times with different people in different ways. And to look within and take a check on your own patterns, and at the same time, even when you see them in others, to have compassion. And I can see that, like, I can see that you have compassion just by the fact that you are not bad mouthing your partner to your children, and that itself is a way of showing compassion, having respect for the person, for their own deeds, and for that personality, rather than making someone a narcissist. This is something that I would really want to share a message with everybody. Because also these jargons are so much thrown around, right? Like,
yeah. When I first started, bringing in this topic more and more, I actually did a reel on my business page that says, he is not, there's a clinical diagnosis to be a narcissist. Yes. And yes, he is not clinically diagnosed as a narcissist, but he has many, many narcissistic traits. So yeah, for the most part, I will use the term, instead of, a narcissistic relationship, I use toxic relationship, because that is what it is with narcissistic traits. Yeah. And that's it. I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about him.
Yes.
Especially
yeah, they are all toxic relationships, and there's a reason also why we attract those toxic relationships, because yeah, it has come into our life because we have an opposite pattern in us which needs to be healed, which needs to be shifted. And once you do that, you see that automatically those toxic relationships fall off your life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what happened to me.
Absolutely. And that's why I can vouch it as well.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. Thank you for everyone who joined in. If you have any comments or anything you want to say about this episode, make sure you drop them in the comments and we will respond to you. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys back here on Friday. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah.